Welcome to the Humanities Team podcast with me, Steve Farrell. Humanities Team is an international spiritual movement whose purpose is to communicate and demonstrate the timeless truth that we are all one, with the divine and all life, caring for each other and the world we share, so that people's actions reflect this profound understanding within our generation. We believe that living this truth is essential to resolving the most chronic and acute world challenges and vital to creating a flourishing world of peace, harmony, and happiness. We offer transformative education programs in personal and spiritual development, and we host an annual event called Global Oneness Day. Similar to Earth Day, which galvanized the global environmental movement, Global Oneness Day has become a catalyst for spiritual activism and an integral part of the present-day global oneness movement, which represents a profound new paradigm in human culture. Humanities Team is the only global nonprofit organization working in transformational education. Since we are a nonprofit, there is no focus on growing profits or satisfying shareholders, and 100% of all revenue goes toward our work supporting conscious evolution, planetary awakening, and flourishing at every level of life. If you'd like to learn more about us or want to support our mission directly through donation or volunteering some of your time, please visit us online at humanitiesteam.org. And lastly, if you enjoyed this podcast, we'd be grateful if you'd leave us a review.
Welcome, everyone, to the 2020 Global Oneness Summit. I'm Debra Poneman, founder of Yes to Success seminars and host for today's interview with world-renowned luminary Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. I'd like to thank everyone for being with us for this 11th anniversary summit. The Global Oneness Day has become our Earth Day for an awakened humanity. And this year, the theme of Global Oneness Day and the entire summit is the power of love, resetting humanity to a new way of living on Earth. And there is no one I know or know of who has been responsible for resetting more people to living in a new way on Earth. A way of joy, a way of love, a way of contribution than Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. In fact, the goal of Sri Sri's organizations is to unite and uplift human life everywhere, so that people of different cultures, traditions, religions, and nationalities can live as a one world family. So welcome, Sri Sri.
Wonderful, Debra.
Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm going to take one more minute to read your formal bio, and then we'll start our discussion. So here is the bio. Sri Sri Ravi Shankar is recognized globally as a humanitarian and spiritual leader who has touched the lives of more than 370 million people around the world by teaching scientifically verified techniques to alleviate stress, anxiety, and depression, by his peacemaking work in war-torn areas like Colombia and Iraq, and by his example of selfless service. Active in 155 countries, Sri Sri's organizations, the Art of Living Foundation and the International Association for Human Values, serve people from every religion, every class, and every culture through programs such as trauma relief and meditation for at-risk youth, war veterans, incarcerated men and women, survivors of natural disasters, programs for poverty alleviation, women's empowerment, campaigns against child labor, initiatives for environmental sustainability, not to mention the almost 700 free schools all over India, with I think there are over 2,000 just at the school in Karnataka, and the Sri Sri University campuses and the Ayurvedic hospitals and clinics that serve the needy, many of which I've had the privilege of visiting, none of which are mentioned on your bio, but I guess if everything was listed, we'd be here all day and I wouldn't have time to interview you. So I will just finish up the bio here by saying that Sri Sri has also received 37 governmental awards, including the highest civilian honors in countries as diverse as Colombia, Guatemala, Mongolia, and Paraguay. In the U.S., he received the International Humanitarian Award from the Simon Wiesenthal Center. He's received keys to more cities than we can even count. 16 universities have awarded him with honorary doctorates for his peacekeeping efforts. He's been a speaker at the United Nations, the European Parliament, the World Economic Forum, the Israeli Presidential Conference at Harvard, Stanford, University of the Wharton School at Penn, TED conferences, and in his spare time, he's also written over 40 books. And I also might add that no matter who you are, whatever your race, your gender, your nationality, you are always welcomed with open arms to be part of Sri Sri's One World family. So with that having been said, the theme of this event, Sri Sri, is the power of love, resetting humanity to a new way of living on Earth. So my first question to you is, do you believe that the world needs a reset? Or do you feel that humanity is already going in the right direction as it is?
Humanity definitely needs a resetting. Resetting is recognizing love is the biggest power. And I would say it's the only power, actually, real power. Love is not just an emotion, but it is our very being, our very nature is love. And when we don't recognize this, then we become so miserable in life. We become miserable, we create misery to everybody around us. That's why when we recognize the power of love that is within us, then a different level of confidence will rise in us. And our whole outlook towards life, towards society, changes tremendously.
So, of course, we all agree that recognizing the power of love within us, then we see love everywhere and we become different human beings. The problem is that sometimes we know that we're love, yet we don't act that way on the outside. We get angry, we have jealousy, we don't wish each other well, we tear down each other. What is it that we can do so that we don't exhibit those behaviors in our lives and we can be love?
All the negative emotions are also because of love. You love objects too much, more than human beings, that's called greed. You love yourself too much, that is pride. You love only some parts of body or some, that is lust. And your love can get distorted and become jealousy. Your love becomes distorted and that becomes hatred. So what is it we can do to keep love in its pristine purity? That is wisdom. That's what I call wisdom. When there is wisdom and knowledge in one's life, when that is integrated with our life, then love doesn't get distorted. It remains pure. No one can get angry if they have no love. See, you love somebody and they do something wrong and so you get angry. So the cause for anger is also love. So I would say love is the mother of most of our emotions.
Well, I find that interesting because I have been with you and as a teacher this is my 25th year that I've been an Art of Living teacher. I've had the honor to be an Art of Living teacher. And I don't see you get angry. And I know you love us and you love the world, but I've seen you be stern and firm, but I've never seen anger in you.
No, you don't have to. See, when there is wisdom, when you have a broader vision about life, then the love doesn't get distorted and become all these negative emotions. There is no need for it, because the power of love, it works. Even hardcore terrorists, I could see them melt. In the prisons, we have been teaching programs in prisons throughout the world. 800,000 prisoners have undergone meditation and breathing technique. So in the beginning, how the stiffness, the hatred they had before just vanishes. So the power of love is such that, and when there is love with wisdom, then it doesn't get distorted into anger, jealousy, hatred, and all that. What I'm saying, I'm not advocating one should get angry or not get angry. It's all part of life. I don't get angry, that doesn't mean no one else should get angry at all. No, you can. You can get angry, but see that the power of love is much bigger. Is much bigger than these distorted colors of the same emotion. It is said it is a healthy anger if it stays only as long as it stays like a line drawn on the water, like a ripple in the water. A ripple doesn't stay too long. Like that, kids do get angry, and kids know. You give them something and you take it away from them, then they show anger. That's okay. But that anger doesn't stay with them. As a mother, you would get upset with your kids, but that doesn't bother you. It doesn't stay with you too long, right? They just come and go. It's a wisdom that is needed along with the love. Then we go into another realm of love, that we can call it the unconditional love, or the love of the divinity that is deep within us. Yeah.
Yes. And one of the things that I've found that distinguishes your organization from others is that most organizations are either devoted to spiritual practices, or there are organizations that are devoted to humanitarian initiatives. But your organizations teach techniques that create inner silence, techniques where we actually experience the oneness, which is what this event is about. And on the basis of that foundation, then you send out armies of people to do humanitarian work wherever it's needed on the planet. So what is the relationship between creating that inner silence and doing effective work?
Finding the love within yourself is like finding God within you. That is meditation. That is finding love within you. And then seeing that in others is giving an expression to love. So you can't say, I love you too much, but I won't do anything. Don't tell me to do anything. That is not love. The expression of love is service to society, selfless service to society. And it's a spontaneous phenomenon. It's a very natural phenomenon. Anyone who finds deep love within themselves, they'll find it getting expressed in their action. And that action you call is real service, where you are not doing service to get something out of it, but as an expression of your own love for the planet, love for people.
Yes. And you mentioned the work in the prisons. I live in Chicago, and we do work in the prisons here in Chicago. And it's so amazing to see the transformation. As you say, even hardcore prisoners who become just so soft and so loving. And it's not work to go and teach them. It is the greatest joy and the greatest service. And speaking of that, I remember in 2006 when I, along with almost 3 million other people from all over the world, were with you live, not on Zoom, in Bangalore at the celebration of the Art of Living Silver Jubilee. And I remember the feeling with 3 million people meditating and doing our breath practices together in unison, 3 million people with not one incident of violence, where men and women in their native costumes were performing from Brazil and Finland and Thailand. And I know also years later was the World Cultural Festival, where there are even more millions of people from Poland and Japan and Mongolia and the Russian ballet and the hip hop group from the US. And I remember what touched me most was the Parade of Nations, where everyone was marching with the flag of their country. And the love was so thick that we were just intoxicated with the possibility that a one world family was possible. And then all 3 million of us went back to our homes, and the reality in our countries and the division and the injustice. And I remember, as filled as I was, I wanted to go back to that bubble because I had a taste of what the world could be like. So my question is, do you believe that a one world family is possible outside the bubble of our Art of Living gatherings, or a gathering like this with Humanities Team, where we're experiencing this oneness over Zoom? Is it possible really in our daily life?
Debra, for me, it's not the organization. I don't belong to just one organization. I belong to everybody, and all the organization on the planet belongs to me. If they are not engaged in terrorist activity, yes, they all belong to me. I belong to them all. People who engage in divisive politics or divisive roles in society, I have compassion for them. I pity them because they are not exposed to this. Inside every culprit, I see a victim crying for help. There is lack of connectivity for them with the people of the world. They cannot stand that diversity because they are not used to. And there is a fear of the unknown within them. That is why we did this World Culture Festival. As you mentioned, you left out 0.7 million people. We had 3.7 million people who came for that. Similarly, we had on the 75th anniversary of the Berlin, Olympic Stadium, which was built by Hitler, where he declared the World War II. On that World War II, 75th anniversary, we said we will do something very different. People from around the world gathered to celebrate World Culture Festival in Germany and meditated for peace and love for humanity. See, all wars are result of getting stuck in the head and not realizing the power of love. And power of love can transform people. We have seen this happen. I have seen this, my own experience throughout the world. Conflicts could be resolved. In the conflicting areas we go and we talk to people, we convey more through our vibrations than through words, When our vibrations is full of love or positivity, that catches on to the others also. Yeah.
Yes, and thank you for saying that it's just not our organization. And I always love that about you. You never are us and them. It's always that we're all doing our work together, and love for all organizations and appreciation for all organizations.
Correct.
And So for the people listening, and there have been up to 100,000 people or more listening to Humanities Team's Global Oneness Day. Especially now at this time, there is such a strong desire for us to be a light, to be a contribution, to do something, because it seems that the problems on the planet are, as I said before, so insurmountable. So if you could just give people some words of wisdom, when we're done with this call, how can they shift their behavior? How can they make a contribution so that they feel that they are doing something to make the world a one world family without hatred and divisiveness?
First of all, the world has many challenges. And in fact, you will be, when you want to spread love, be prepared to face challenges. It's not going to be a cakewalk for you. It's not going to be rosy. There'll be quite a few thorns, So we must be prepared for that, number one. Once you are prepared, you will not get shaken from, and then you will be very resolute in the steps that you want to take. Second is criticism will come your way. People think you are not practical, you are out there, and you are not in touch with reality, blah, blah, blah. All this. When I thought about this, one global festival, cultural festival, World Culture Festival, for bringing people from all walks of life, whether it's religious people or business people or artists, scientists, we brought everyone on one platform, including from Pakistan. You see, India and Pakistan have not been in very good terms from quite some time. Similarly, from Israel and Arab countries. We had Iraq, we had Iran, we have people from Syria. The Syrian top mufti was there. So everyone came on one platform. First they said, this is not possible. On 7 acres of stage for about 35, 40,000 people, just artists to perform. In itself, people said it's not possible. But it became possible because everybody, the volunteers, had this vision. So we must have a vision. When you want to go out and spread love, you have a vision. 1 million people would say this is not possible. But remember, nothing is impossible when there is love for it. Yeah. So, since the theme itself is power of love, I would say that again, with the power of love, you can make impossible possible. Okay? Suppose you take an action plan and it doesn't work. Never mind. Never mind. It's not the time for it. But hold on to your plan. Maybe a few years later you can do it. Number one. So never get disheartened. The third thing is, whenever you step on some positive work in the society, there could be burnout. You may feel burnout because you may not feel so much support or encouragement from other people. Normally, the negative people are much more active than the positive. So when you are with a positive mindset, when you go out to act, you will find some resistance and you may also feel a burnout. At this point, I would say, go within, meditate. Find the love within you. And, meditation. And looking inward will bring you enormous energy and recuperation. You will get recuperated. When you look within, you get recuperated. the strength will come to you to act again. So we must always see that we should keep reflecting within and not just get emotional. And people in name of love, they get so emotional and they take up things and they drop it that fast. So that is because they have not discovered the source of life that they are. And meditation is the way to find the inner strength. When we have inner strength, we don't mind what failures or what criticisms we have to face in life, and we keep doing with that purity of our heart. Then with this, I would say, if you see a face which is sad or depressed or angry, agitated, just don't pass by. Just say hello to them. Find out what is their problem, what is their issue. You are just talking to someone who is not happy itself can relieve them of their unhappiness to some extent, if not totally. Similarly, people who have been condemned or who are aggressive. See, in the society we find these two extremes. Either people are aggressive, very aggressive, or they are very depressed. Both type of people need your help. You don't have to talk to them much or give them sermons. You don't have to give them advices. Just your being there with the purity of your mind, with the positive vibration, can bring transformation in their life. As I said, I would like to say it again, emphasize it. We convey more through our vibration than through our words. I can talk about love for 2 hours, but a puppy in your home will convey it in 1 minute. It just jumps around. So our vibration speaks more for. And if we do not live that vibration, if it is not manifesting in our life, then any amount of talk will not do any good.
Thank you so much. That is so beautiful. And in conclusion, I am going to ask you to lead maybe just a minute or two meditation, but I know that in the 27 years that I've been with you, I have never heard you give out a URL for the Art of Living. But as an Art of Living teacher, I hope it's okay with you that I'm going to be bold, as I think it would be a disservice to our listeners if I didn't give them just an easy way to find us so that they can look into our programs and join our family. So please forgive me, because I'm going to say you could find more information about the Art of Living programs at artofliving.org. And now, as we come to the end of the program, I want to invite each person present to just stretch the limit of your oneness based on Sri Sri's beautiful words and beautiful guidance. If we all live in a place of giving, of service, of just being that vibration of love and being the highest expression of ourselves, then we can reset humanity to a new way of living on earth and perhaps even return the world to love. And our children and the future generations are counting on us. So before we close, I'd like to invite you, Sri Sri, to lead us for just a minute or two in a meditation on oneness or a oneness moment, and then I'll make some closing remarks.
Yes. Wonderful, Debra. As I said, it's a meditation that keeps the stress out. When the stress is out, we are all nothing but expression of love. The whole world is just the expression of love. That positive vibration we all have. We don't have to go out somewhere to acquire them. We do have it, but it is shrouded. It's shrouded with stress and ignorance and negativity. We only have to uncover that. That's all. And I would recommend everyone to sit a few minutes every day, take few deep breaths and observe your breath, observe your body, sensations, then the emotions, the storms of emotions, they come and go. You observe the thoughts. In just few minutes time, you will find your mind settling down. You start listening to your heartbeat, and there is a calm, serene feeling that would dawn inside of you. You may all do that, okay? All the best to everyone.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all of your contribution to the planet. And we thank you, and we send our love to everyone who is listening today.
I belong to you all, everybody.
If you'd like to receive all of our new podcast episodes, please click on the subscribe button. To find out more about Humanities Team transformational education programs and about how you can help support our mission, please visit us online at humanitiesteam.org, where you can also sign up for our email list so we can let you know about our free online events and other news about what we're up to each week. And again, if you enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a review. Thank you.